everybody. So today's vlog entry is about life, just in general, and about you and how you orient to yourself to that life that you are having. Now, my disclaimer is simply that I'm one person and I have had a series of experiences that are unique to me. They may mirror some of the experiences that you've gone through, and if that is the case, then I sincerely hope that by me being transparent and sharing some of my story and sharing some of my life, that it will help you on your life's journey. So I hope that you enjoy this. And here we go. Okay, so this past week, I've really tried to, on my Facebook page, stay positive, stay in a positive kind of space, and promote positivity to those people that I'm friends with, because I'm aware of the law of reciprocity, which is also known as the law of attraction, which is, you know, as you project, that's what you attract, or as you sow, so shall you reap. So, you know, both of those principles work the same. What you project out into the world is generally what you attract back. And so if you're always negative and you're always, you know, talking about the problems and the issues that you have, then generally speaking, you attract more problems and you attract more issues. And what I've learned along life's way is that complaining does not solve not one problem. All it does is just state the problem and reframe it for you. And you continuously hear that message in your head about how awful things are and how hopeless things are and how terrible things are. And I'm not saying that we don't have times where we vent, because we do, and God knows that I can get off on a tangent if I let myself. But I've really been trying to stay away from that, because it doesn't make me feel better to talk about things that are always negative or talk about things that are always wrong. I'm in a place in my life where I really want to find a solution. And probably 98% of the time, you know, problems that are occurring in my life, not necessarily because I've done anything wrong or because I've done anything to cause those problems. It's just life. Life happens, stuff happens. It doesn't always go as planned. And when you're inflexible and you don't roll with it, that's when you really have a lot of the problem. And I'll raise my hand to say that, yeah, I ain't the most flexible person in the world, and rolling with stuff is not my strength, but I am trying, because I'm getting older, and quite frankly, I'm tired of the headaches. So these are some of the things that I wanted to kind of highlight and talk about, and hopefully help you. So as I said before, I have been trying to stay in a place of positivity. And so one status, I can't even remember what I said exactly, but I basically said, if you rise, what good is it if you rise and you don't shine? And so I said, shine hard. And one of my friends said, oh, you should brand that. And I started thinking about that. What does it mean to shine hard? And more specifically, why aren't you shining? Why am I not shining? Why am I not, you know, giving my complete? And a lot of the answer has to do with just experiences that I've gone through, just being tired of being tired, just being tired of taking 2 steps forward and 1 step behind. A little bit about me. I am a single mom, and I've been divorced probably about 14 years now. And my marriage was not the greatest, you know, and I don't want to disparage him, and I really don't want to go into a whole long drawn out conversation about that, but it was a very hurtful relationship. We were very young when we got together. I think I was 17 when I met him, and he was all of 18, so very, very young, very stupid, very immature. And I take responsibility for my part in how things rolled out. I was not an effective communicator. I did sulk and throw temper tantrums, and if you watch my last video, I was the queen of the silent treatment. And again, I'm not going to go into that because I talked about it already, but the silent treatment is really the hallmark of immaturity. And, you know, people who are emotionally constipated, which I was, I could scream and yell about it, but I couldn't really talk about it, especially if I was hurt. So and it's not to excuse it, it just is what it is. And you put that in a situation and it causes a very dysfunctional relationship. So the first thing is, I think that a lot of times the reason that people don't shine as hard as they should is because they have created dysfunctional and toxic relationships for themselves. And they're so stuck in the cycle of pleasing this other person, or punishing this other person, or relying on this other person for their happiness and for their satisfaction in life, until they really don't have the ability to extract themselves from that and learn how to be a whole and complete person by themselves. I think that, you know, each one of us bring a collective something to the table. I always tell my kids that life is a potluck. It is not a buffet. You do not show up and just start eating. You need to bring something to the table. And I think that a lot of times what we bring to the table is a whole bunch of baggage, a whole bunch of pain, and a whole bunch of nonsense that we throw out there and we say, all right, help us with that. And, you know, in a relationship, I think that there'll be a fair amount of healing and a fair amount of, you know, conversations about what happened and, you know, who did what to whom and, you know, helping you through that, because you need to have someone that you trust to speak to. But you cannot drop all that at somebody's door and expect them to help heal you of all of the background noise and background baggage that you took into this relationship. That's not fair to them. It's not fair to you. So dysfunctional relationships start that way, where one partner has baggage that they want you to help go through, and, you know, all kinds of toxicity in their lives that they want you to help alleviate. And no person is that great. No person is that awesome to be able to help you through all of that. I mean, you really got at some point either pray about it and leave it there, or get you some help, or in some times both. Do both. Yeah, do both, because I think both is necessary. But at any rate, you know, if you find yourself in a toxic or dysfunctional relationship, it's not always easy to identify that, and it's definitely not easy to move on for that. But for your own happiness, your own sanity, your own sense of well-being, you've got to learn how to extract yourself from that. And I'll do another vlog about the steps that you take in order to extract yourself from a dysfunctional or toxic relationship. But for right now, you know, just think about all of the things that are collectively being brought to the table by this other person and what you bring to the table. And you need to do a comparison. And if the two don't really match, you really need to reconsider that relationship. Number two, I think that one of the things that keeps us from shining hard is a lack of confidence. And a lack of confidence comes from a lot of different places. I wasn't exactly confident or you know, self-aware as I was growing up. I had a lot of self-esteem issues. I had a lot of just perception issues that I needed to work through. And, you know, when you grow up like that and you grow up with a distorted self-image, you don't really have a lot of confidence, or the confidence that you gain is artificial. And when I say it's artificial confidence, your confidence should not be derived from seeing someone else fail. That's not true confidence. I don't even know what that is right now, but that's not true confidence. That really is, you know, an inherent inability to really see other people thrive. And that goes hand in hand with the artificial competition. Sometimes we set ourselves in competition with each other who don't even know that you're competing with them. Like, why are you competing with someone else? Someone else's lifestyle, someone else's ability, someone else's skill is not the same as yours. It may be similar to yours, but it's not who you were created to be. What they have and what they do because that is what their purpose is, or their life's journey is. It may not be yours. And so trying to take that on and do what other people do is absurd. That's like me trying to go out and play tennis because I've decided that I need to be Serena. There is only one Serena Williams, and she does Serena Williams very, very well. And if I were to get out there and try, first of all, I'd be running from the ball. Second of all, I don't know how to play tennis. Third of all, I look like a fool. But I cannot be mad at her for living the life that she was destined to live. All I can do is now identify the life that Felisa was destined to live and do that the best way that I know how. And the greatest way to do that is to be true to myself. Stop competing with other people. Stop looking at what people have and how people gain things. Why does she get to drive that? Why does he get to work there? Because those things are for them. That's for them. What's for you is for you. And so once we become okay with that, and once we figure out what our purpose is and why we're here, I think that life becomes so much easier and so much more tolerable. That jealousy factor is not cute. That envy factor is real. And, you know, that's where you get all of these so-called haters. Although, you know, I stand by my last rant. If you got more haters than supporters, I don't know what you did. I really don't know what you did. You really need to reevaluate your circle with that, because that's not good. And then the third thing that I think that keeps us from shining hard is sometimes the fear of moving forward is greater than the pain of staying. And what I mean by, and that could be applied to any situation, a relationship, a job, you know, where we are in proximity in life. It could be anything. But sometimes the fear of really getting out there and experiencing the unknown is so paralyzing, and it's so difficult for us to fathom. We rather stay exactly where we are, even if we're not moving, even if we're not happy, even if it's killing us. We rather stay right here on the square than to say, you know what, there's something out there better for me and I need to go and get it. And that's why a lot of people, especially women, find themselves 20 years later still stuck in the same loveless marriage, still stuck in the same dead-end job, still stuck in the same cycle of dysfunctionalism that they created for themselves. Yes, ladies, we created that for ourselves because you're too scared to do it on your own. You're too scared to get out there and really see what life has to offer you. And really, all you can do is fail. And failure is not the worst thing in the world. As a matter of fact, you learn more from failure than you do from success. If all you had in success is success in life, you can't appreciate it. You have no checks and balance. There's no validation for who and what you are. There's no litmus test for your success. When you don't have failure, you continue to try, you continue to persevere. You continue to attempt to overcome the obstacles that you have in front of you. I just think that although it's not fun and I definitely don't enjoy it when I'm going through it, it's so necessary for your growth. You will never find out what you're made out of unless you go through something. There's just no other way to say that. There's no other way to really get you to understand that part of your life's journey and part of your growth, indeed all of your growth, is tied to how you process things when things are terrible, not when things are great. Yes, if I had a choice, I'm going to choose the easy route, but I won't appreciate it. You know, there's a certain something to be said about where I am right now in life. Even though I'm not nearly where I want to be, I'm not at all at the place where I could say, whew, okay, been there, done that. But, you know, I understand what it's like to lay in the bed and cry yourself to sleep. I understand what it's like to just desperately want someone to love you and to care about you. I understand what it's like to go into your bank account and everything is gone because you've been garnished, because you didn't answer a lawsuit because you were scared. I understand what it's like to come out your house and your car is gone because it's been repoed. I understand what it's like to lose your house. I understand what it's like to try and figure out how you're going to raise your kids or how you're going to provide for them or how you're going to put food on the table. I understand that. I've been there. I have been there. I've been there. So when I say to you that, you know, you have to continue to move on, and I don't count those as failures, not really. I count those as steps on my life's journey that I so much more appreciate where I am now. I so much more value my career. I so much more value my education. I so much more value even my children, because my children were there for me, with me since the beginning, obviously, but to rally around them, and they were my focal point, they were my everything, my whole reason for doing anything. So, you know, my kids are my most important accomplishment, and of course, you know, they haven't always done exactly what mama told them to do. However, I believe and I trust what I put in them. So, you know, to this day, I can call any one of my children and know that they will respond to me, and to me, that's the only thing that matters. So you got to get past the pain of getting out there, get past the pain of calling some relationships quit, because they're dead. Dead things don't grow. So if you are still holding on to something that's dead, that's a dead end, dead weight, whatever it is, then you really need to reevaluate that. And I'm not into telling anybody what they have to do, because any decision I've made, I've been willing to live with the consequences. And so because of that, I encourage you to look at your life in its entirety and cut those things that are dead for you, cut those things that don't make sense to you, but do it in a way that makes sense for your life and, you know, brings you as little trauma as possible. And the last thing that I want to kind of throw out there, the thing that keeps us from shining hard, is going back to that lack of confidence. We give up too easily. If things don't happen for us in a certain amount of time, then we are so quick to abandon it. And there's a difference between abandonment and delay. Sometimes you jump out prematurely because you haven't done your research, or you haven't done, you know, the appropriate steps that need to be done in order to ensure that something is viable or something is going to be successful for you, and you get frustrated and you give up. But there's a time and a place for everything. So if you have an idea, or if you have a certain dream to make things happen, or if you have a certain desire to do things in your life, I say go for it. I say, you know, don't give up on it. Put it out there. Continue to hone it. Continue to develop your skills that go along with it. You know, one of the things that I started to do was this vlog. And, you know, my subscribership is not off the chart. Hopefully it'll get there. Maybe it won't. I don't know. But the point is that I'm continuing to try. I'm continuing to put it out there because, number one, I enjoy it. Number two, I think that there's a certain validation that you get when you talk or you see other people that are talking about issues and circumstances that you've been through. I just think that that's so important. And there was a time in my life when I was going through so much, and I had so many sleepless nights and tear-filled days, and there wasn't a lot of people that I could talk to. And I wish that I'd had, you know, at least some venue where I could go and get some encouragement and or get some pointers and things like that. And so that's one of the reasons that I wanted to start to do this, not because I want all my business in the street, but because I think that, you know, you can only help someone when you tell your story. So, you know, those are some of the things that I've gone through, some of the things that I have identified as problematic in my life, from dysfunctional to toxic relationships to being a single mom of 4, yes, 4 children. So, you know, I understand all of the reasons and the issues that could occur in your life that will prevent you from shining. But I want you all to know that no matter what your life story is, no matter what your life's journey is, you can do it and you can make it and you can overcome it. You have to hang in there. I know it sounds very cliche, but I'm so serious. Change your messaging. Change it, because if you don't, you'll continue to live the cycle of the life that you keep professing. If you don't change that message, if you don't start projecting positivity, if you don't start saying over your life that these things are going to happen and then start to put a plan in it, it'll never happen. Things don't just happen by happenstance. You have to make them happen and put yourself in a position so that they can happen for you. So I hope this video has been, I don't know, useful for you. If it has, please leave your comment below. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like this video. And if you have any thoughts or ideas about any future vlogs, please don't hesitate to let me know. Thank you for watching. These are my thoughts, and I'm simply Felisa. Have a great week.